yogis, my name is Lisa and welcome to my channel. So for today's focus, we're going to see if you can allow yourself to just be with what is, especially in your life and what's going on in the moment. And so use your yoga practice today to allow yourself to feel through the postures. Try not to avoid the postures, but feel through the postures through the breath. So we're going to begin today in toe stand. And if you happen to have two blocks or two books, maybe you might want to use those today as well. So grab those as well. So we're going to start with toe stand today to wake up through the backs of the feet. So I want you to curl the toes underneath, even in the pinky toes. And then see if you can either put your hands, if you have the blocks, if this is too intense for you, or see if you can allow your shoulders to melt down through your hips and start to elongate through your spine. Bring your hands together to your heart center, close your eyes, and connect to your breath. As you breathe in deeply through the nose, and then open mouth, sigh it out. Just let go of anything that's no longer of service to you. Breathe in deeply, fill up the sides of the belly, fill up the front of the belly, fill up the back of the belly. And then open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. One more time, breathe in. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. And then connect to your Ujjayi breath, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. And setting your intention for your practice today. Use that intention so that if you start to lose focus, you can come back to that intention. Take one more breath here. Once you've set your intention, go ahead and blink open the eyes, and then we'll release out of the feet. Woo, waking up through the feet. So I want you to lean back now and take the fingers behind you, and we're going to stretch through the tops of the feet now. So lift the knees up, roll your shoulders down your back, and open your heart space out. So the bottoms of our feet, there are so many nerve endings that end in the bottoms of our feet. So if we can start to wake up through the feet. Now feel your hands, same thing. All the nerve endings going through the bottom of the hand. Press down, feel your knuckles into each finger, your thumb, index, middle, fourth, and fifth. Take one more breath. And then slowly let's come to all fours. Let's wake up with a little bit of cat and cow. So tuck your toes, let your belly relax, let the tips of the ears come up. Keep the neck long. On the exhale, press the tops of the feet down. Push the earth away and start to dome your back and gaze towards your navel. From your pelvis, release and allow the crown of the head to lift up, tucking the toes if that feels good. Exhale, cat pose, draw the navel in. Start to work this with your breath. Inhaling cow pose. Exhale into cat. And a couple more rounds on your own. If there's any organic movement that your body is craving right now, feel free to take it. One more time in your cat and cow. Come to a neutral spine. And I want you to start to wake up through the hips. So I want you to lift the knee and draw the foot up towards the sky, like you're stamping your foot, flexing through the heel, and press the heel up towards the sky. Feel the activation in the hamstring. Now, really slow and mindful, I want you to draw the knee towards the chest and start to take the knee out to the right like it's 3 o'clock. And then try to take the foot back up to the sky. So we're making these big, slow circles, lubricating through your hip. We'll do one more round this way, and then start to go in the opposite direction. Start to stamp the heel up towards the sky, bring it out to the side, and then draw twice more. See if you can go slowly. Visualize yourself lubricating through the hip, and then slowly come back to center. Switch sides. Again, starting to lift up the heel towards the sky. Flex your heel. Feel the activation of the hamstring. And then start to pull the knee in towards the chest. Take the knee out to like 9 o'clock. And then start to draw the heel back up to the sky. And then start to just connect those dots. And then switch directions once you've done 3 in that shape. Can you slow it down just a little bit more? Last time. And then slowly release it down. Take your right leg behind you for spinal balance. Stretch your left arm in front of you. And then again, allow those toes to point down to the earth. Now stretch your hand forward. And from the navel, reach the hand and the heel away from each other. Keep the bicep close to the ear. Spread your fingers. Now bend the knee again and draw the heel up to the sky. Take your left hand now and see if you can reach back and grab a hold of the top of the foot. Relax your shoulders down. Now send your heart space forward, just like you just did in that cow shape. Now start to roll the left shoulder down the back and start to look and kick back and open up through the left side of the chest. Breathe in. Kick up a little higher if you can, opening up through the back of the shoulder. And then release back to spinal balance. Pull the navel up and in, and release it back to the earth. Switch sides. Left leg goes behind you, toes pointing towards the earth. Draw the navel up and in. Stretch your right arm in front of you. And then feel the fingers fan open. Start to bend your knee. Stamp the left heel up towards the sky. Draw the thumb down towards the earth. And then reach back. See if you can grab a hold of the foot. If you can't, that's okay, no worries. Let the right shoulder draw down your back. And then as the shoulder comes down, see if you can start to twist and allow the right side of the chest to open. Feel the right side of the back of the shoulder opening. Kick that foot back. Soften your gaze and breathe. And then coming back to spinal balance, reaching the arm and the leg away from each other, plant the hand down and step back, high plank. Feel the body, just like a plank of wood, strong and sturdy. Soften the knees and start to send the hips high up and back, coming into our first downward facing dog. So let's bend the right knee, push the heel down, and then on your out breath, just walk your dog from side to side, but try to do it today without moving the hips, without dropping the hips. Just allow the heels to press back. Now lift both heels, come up to the tiptoes, lift up even higher. Lift those heels up more. Feel the hands connect down. Feel like you're sliding your mat forward. Lift the sitting bones higher, and then let the heels start to melt straight back. Last breath as you breathe in deeply. Let's walk our hands to the back of the mat today. So keep your feet hip distance apart. Take your hands either to the ground or your shins. Lift up, Ardha Uttanasana. Let the crown of the head move forward and exhale, forward fold. Now I want you to take your right hand towards the left side of the mat. Bend your right knee and then start to open and twist. Let your left shoulder melt down. Now you might even be able to see as you look up that left shoulder. So see if you can roll it down, roll it back, and then maybe take a half bind. Taking the left hand either to the lower back or you have this little crease. And then really keep the left leg straight and bend that right knee. Last breath. And then softly release. Take your left hand now towards the right side of the mat. We're going to bend the left knee this time. Start to twist open. So feel the arms expand. This is your wings. And then take the right hand to the lower back or maybe to that left hip crease. Let that right shoulder relax down and away from the ear. Look up. Take one more breath. And then softly release. Come back to downward facing dog. Take the right leg up behind you for three-legged dog. Stretch and yawn and open. Pull the knee into the chest, engage your core. Quietly step the right foot through and softly lower the left knee down to the earth. I want you to bring your hands on top of your thighs and think about the pelvis drawing forward as the navel draws back. And then sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. And as you do that, see if you can press into the right heel and just let the left hip just slightly move forward. Opening up through the hip flexor and psoas on the left side. Take your left hand down to the earth. Bend your back knee, and just like we just did, you may want to walk your foot to the right slightly. See if you can grab a hold of the pinky edge side. Roll that right shoulder down again and start to peel open the chest. Last breath. Release that back foot softly and we'll step back plank pose. Slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Let the hands come off the earth. Press your toenails down and just take this floating cobra. Feel the back body. Feel the elbows drawing towards the waistline. Widen the collarbones. Place the hands down, maybe lift up a little higher. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Left side, float your left leg up and behind you. Stretch it, reach the foot away. Pull the knee into the chest, engage your core, and then quietly step that left leg through. Drop the back knee down to the earth, and we'll start to place the hands on the thighs. First, find the stability of the center. So draw the pelvis down and forward, pull the waistline back, and then push into the thighs, reach the arms up, press down into that left heel, and see if you can melt that right hip slightly forward. As you release, let the right hand come down to the earth. Walk your left foot out just so the knee is in line with the toes. Bend your back knee and see if you can grab the foot. Just like we did earlier, roll that left shoulder down your back and maybe you can start to gaze up towards the sky. Keep your foot active, so even spread your toes here. And then release that foot softly, and then we'll step back, plank pose. Slowly lower, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Even notice the difference in your body already. Bend your knees, look forward, hop your feet to your hands. Lift up halfway, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Widen your feet hip distance apart, and we'll take ragdoll. Just let yourself sway. So I want you to think of what is going on in your life that you can just, during this practice, put it on a shelf, like put it to the side of your mat. You don't have to worry about it right now, so that you can really tune in to what's going on in your body today. Take your hands towards your shins, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, just drape over your thighs like a waterfall, and we'll rise all the way up to extended mountain. Press down into the feet, reach the arms up. Now I want you to take a mudra today, Kali mudra. So interlace the fingers, accept your index, stretch that index straight up to the sky. Now lift your heart space so this feels invigorating. Not strain, but invigorating. And then exhale, we'll forward fold into sun salutation A. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant your hands, hop or step back to vinyasa. So high to low plank, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. We'll take 3 cycles of breath. Inhale, exhale, empty. Fill your body with breath. Empty the breath. One more, inhale. Bend your knees, look forward, hop your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Extended mountain, reach up with the Kali mudra. Lean back, open the heart. And we'll do that again. Exhale, forward fold. Waking up the body. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Engage the quads. Send those thigh bones back. Look forward, bend your knees, hop your feet to your hands. Lift up halfway. Forward fold, exhale. Reach up, extended mountain. Interlace the fingers. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Allow the hips to draw back. Pull the pit of the belly up. Now stretch those arms forward. Reach the fingers away from the tailbone. Feel your legs, the power in your legs, how strong you are here. Now just lift the heart space. Pull the navel in. Breathe in. Exhale, forward fold, let it all go. Halfway lift, inhale. Vinyasa, exhale. Upward dog. Downward dog. Warrior one, big step, right foot. Send it forward, root to rise. Take an extra breath. Inhale, feel the rhythm of the action of the feet. Exhale, rise a little higher. Exhale, release the hands to the earth. Step back, high plank. Low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, left foot, big step. Ground down, rise. Feel your feet, inhale. Sink lower, exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, touch down. Step back, high to low. Upward facing, downward facing. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come forward, high plank. Bring your hand gently to the middle of the mat. Squeeze the legs, roll to side plank. Look up if you can. Stack your feet and lift your hips. We're going to take wild thing today. So I want you to bend your left knee, just like we've been doing, drawing the heel to the glute. Step your left foot back, and then zipper, like you're zippering up a jacket. Pull the right shoulder into its socket, and then stretch the left arm over your ear. Last breath in your wild thing. Come forward, plank pose. Switch sides, left hand to the middle of the mat. Roll to the left. Making sure the feet, wake up your toes, pull your toes, and then lift your left hip point up. Pull the left shoulder down your back, gaze up. Take your right foot now, bend your right knee, kick your glute, step it back, and then from the left toe, stamp the left foot down, stand on that foot, draw the left shoulder into its socket, and reach and expand. Last breath. Come back, high plank, low plank. Upward dog, shine your heart, open the collarbones. Downward dog, exhale. Warrior one, right foot, big step. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Now I want you to sink down in that right thigh today. Let it ground into you and feel the right hip open. Right palm flips up. Keep the knees where they are. Reverse your warrior. Open up to the right side of the body. Now, take your arms up to the sky. Come back to your Kali Mudra. Spin off the left heel. Warrior three. Launch off. Take the left leg behind you. Look down. Find a drishti point. Lengthen out. Let your hands release only to the earth gracefully. You may want your blocks here. Lift your heart space up. Standing split. So it's like tying your shoe. Reach down and tie that right shoe. Stretch the left leg high, all the way up to the sky. Take one more breath. Now step that left foot all the way to the back of your mat. And again, we're going to come into the Kali Mudra with our crescent lunge. So stretch that left heel away from the right fingers. Bring your hands into heart center and we'll twist. Right, drawing the elbows to the outside of the right thigh and activate that left leg super strong. Now let that right shoulder melt down your back and look up. Keep looking over that right shoulder. Keeping the legs how you have them, spin the back foot flat and we'll open up into extended side angle, reaching that left arm all the way up and over your ear, making a straight line of energy from the fingers to the heel. Now let that right rib cage start to spin underneath you towards the sky. relaxation. Breathe through this. If you can breathe through this pose, you know you can breathe through anything life throws you. Exhale, release, step back, high plank. Woo. Low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Let's take a lion's breath here. So breathe in, stick out your tongue. Ha. Again, breathe in, stick out your tongue. Ha. Last time, breathe in, stick up your tongue and gaze at your third eye. Ha. Left side, stepping forward, warrior one. Root down, rise up, open the arms, Virabhadrasana 2. Now, left thigh, let that left thigh ground you into the earth today. Let that left side of the hip open. Left palm flips up to the sky. Stay with your legs. Just opening up through the left side body as you take your reverse warrior. Now, let the arms reach up to the sky. Spin off your back foot. Kali Mudra. Square the hips. Warrior 3. Look down. Find a drishti point and see if you can float that right leg off the ground. Very gracefully bring those hands to the blocks or to the earth. Lift your heart space, standing split. You're tying your shoe on the left foot. Reach that right foot up till you feel it. Should feel good. Not too much, not too little. Make sure you can stay with your breath. Step that right foot back to crescent lunge. Keep the back heel lifted. Sweep the arms up into Kali Mudra. Reaching those arms forward. Let your left hip flicker up and back. Keep the left knee in line with the left ankle. Bring your hands into heart center and we'll twist. Ring it out mentally, physically, emotionally. It's a cleanse here. Look over that left shoulder. Keep twisting the rib cage, the right side of the rib cage up towards the sky. Last breath. Keep the feet. Let the hands release. Now flatten the right foot and open up. Parshvakonasana, extended side angle. Let the right palm start to reach over your ear. Feel again that you can start to turn the left side of the ribs up to the sky. And then find that line of energy from the right middle finger all the way to the right heel. Amp up the volume of your breath. Take one more breath. Stretch open. Good job. Step back, high plank. Low plank. Up dog. 2 downward facing dog. Hop your feet towards your hands. Gaze up, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, now chair pose. Sweep the arms all the way up back to the Kali Mudra. And stand up nice and tall. I'm going to face you. We're going to take lateral flexion. So ground into the feet and start to lift up and over and start to lean over to the right. Let your side hip gently press out. Squeeze the arms towards the bicep, maybe looking underneath your arm. Notice if your hips started turning, keep your hips towards the front of your mat. Come back through center. Feel the difference between both sides. Soften the elbows for a moment. Root down into your feet. And then from that energy, shoot yourself up like you're a rocket ship. And then start to lift up and over. Start to lean to the left. Straighter arms. See if you can elongate the left arm more. Maybe looking underneath the arm. Slowly come back to center, hands at a heart. Awesome. Samastitihi, equal standing mountain pose. Come back to your intention that you set for your practice. And since we opened the hips, I want to see if we can work with standing pigeon today. So if you have your blocks, I'm going to have you bring them towards the front of your mat, and I'm just going to face you so that you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to start with figure 4, standing pigeon. So take your right leg, start to cross it, making a 4. The heel stays over the outside of the thigh. Find a juicy point, and just like we did in chair pose, where the hips went back and the heart space went forward, I want you to see if you can do the same thing here. Let the knee work away from the chest. Now you can stay upright, or you can start to draw the hands to the earth. And so this is where the blocks come in, and you have different positions, the highest, medium, or lowest. And you can either just enjoy this beautiful hip opening, forward fold, standing pigeon, or some of you may want to take the arm balance. So I'm going to show you with the blocks, and you may want to do it without the blocks. Start to move the blocks forward, and then I want you to think. Now ideally, those toes should be, all 5 of the right toes should be pressing into the tricep. So as you can see, I'm a little short just because my right hip is tight, but I want you to send the heart forward and then start to see if you can draw that left heel up and behind you into your flying pigeon. Squeeze that left heel towards the glute, just like we've been doing all class. Breathe steadily, and when you've had enough, let that left heel release. We'll come out of it just like we did, back into Samastitihi. Now I'm going to face the side this time so that you can see my positioning in my body on this other side. So we'll lift the left knee now and start to cross the left foot over the right thigh. So make sure you're just not on the kneecap, you're above the kneecap. The foot is flexed on the left foot to keep the knee safe. And then you start to shift your hips backward. Find a focal point, right? If you wobble like I am, you're just human. You just come back into it. Lift your heart space. And either just stay with this. This is an amazing, beautiful stretch in the hips. Or if you want to go into stage 2, you can take your hands to your blocks. This may be enough for you today. Option 3, if you want to try the arm balance, I'm going to send my blocks out a little bit in front of me. And you might not even need the blocks. You may even want to keep your hands on the ground. So again, these toes, try to connect all 5 of your left toenails against that right tricep. Now send your heart forward, just like we do crow pose. And maybe this is your flying pigeon today. Think about as the heart space moves forward, see if you can squeeze that right heel into the glute. Pull the belly in, everything up into center, into core. Take one more breath. And then softly release. Slowly coming back to stand. into Tadasana. All right, dancer pose. Dancer on the right. So heel draws into the glute. Grab a hold of the inseam. Stretch your left arm up to the sky and start to kick that foot back as the heart moves forward. And release. Dancer pose, left side. Draw the heel into the glute. Grab a hold of the inseam. Reach that right arm up higher. Really good posture here. Trust that right foot. Ground it into the earth. And then start to kick that shin bone back. Now you may be able to go further today since we've opened up through the hip flexors and the quad. Activate toes on the left foot, wake them up. Beautiful. And then tree pose, right side. Grounding to the calf or up to the inner thigh, your choice. Hands at heart center. Or yogi's choice on the arms today. And then slowly switch sides. Tree pose, left. Option to stay on the ground, to the calf or above the knee. Maybe you want to go to this Kali Mudra we've been working and start to grow those branches upward, back of the skull, lifting up and out of the hips, keeping the pelvis neutral and even. Last breath in Vrikshasana, and then slowly release. Nicely done. Come back to the front of your mat, top of your mat. Let's sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Up dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Triangle pose, right side. Step your right foot forward, and you may want to use your blocks here. And I really want you to think of the right thigh today. So pull the right hip underneath you as you stretch that left arm up to the sky. Keep pulling that right hip underneath you to feel length. Lengthen the lower side of the ribs by pulling that right hip back. And then exhale, face center. You may want your blocks or your books if you have them. And we're going to come into pyramid pose. So really want you to think of allowing the sitting bones to expand right and left. And then slowly start to fold into your pyramid pose. Let that right hip flick up and back. Think of the right hip moving to the right side, back of your mat. Think of the left hip opening and moving to the back of the mat. So you're expanding into the sitting bones, letting the right hamstring open. And we'll switch. Triangle pose, left foot. Step the left foot forward, right foot back. Use your blocks on the other side. Start to peel yourself open. Now it's the left hip that I want you to hug underneath you. Even more. Even more. As you do that, notice you get light in the upper body. You can expand and you can reach out. pyramid pose. Let's take a wide leg straddle. So turn your feet towards the side of your mat. Lengthen the fingers in line with the toes. Lift your chest and then exhale, forward fold. If the crown of the head comes down, and if you practice tripod headstand, you can keep those elbows so that they're in your peripheral vision, and then maybe the feet start to float up into your tripod headstand, making sure that you are on the center, top of your head. If you're not floating the legs up, it's okay. You're still getting the benefits of the inversion. Tripods come down gently, widen the legs. See if you can just barely touch the feet softly to the earth. Inhale, all of us are going to lift, and we're going to turn our body to the front of the mat, and we'll take our pyramid now. So if you use your blocks, you may need to adjust the side, lengthen your torso, let the left hip flick up into the back of the mat. Let the right hip draw to the right so that you can really expand the sitting bones and drawing the chin in towards the shin. Take one more breath. And then release those blocks out of the way. We'll step back to plank pose. And I want you to lower down like an elevator, like the slowest elevator. Bend your elbows like 25%. Keep hugging the elbows in. Lower another 25. So we're like at the mezzanine. And then we'll come all the way down to the earth. Good job. Now, today with your locust pose, I want you to think of the hands. I want you to turn the hands so that they face towards your toes. And then cupcake your hands. Press the fingers into the ground. Roll your shoulders down your back. And then see how it feels as you draw those elbows up to the sky and send your torso, heart space forward. Now from here, start to send the hands right behind you. Reach those fingers back and lift maybe those legs off the ground. Shalabhasana. Get longer. Reach higher. One more breath and melt into the earth. Let your hips sway a little bit left, a little bit right. And you can go back to that second variation of locust, or maybe taking bow pose. Bend your knees, reach back, grab a hold of the ankles, shoulders down your back. Now think, back of the skull. If you're taking bow pose, I want you to lift up through the back of the skull, up. Flare the toes, maybe tighten the bow. Lift up, kick up a little higher, and let your heart shine. Last full breath cycle. Breathe in and breathe out. Nicely done. Take your hands, stack your hands, let your forehead rest into your hands. And slowly come up. We'll take camel pose. So I want you to walk your knees right underneath your hips. Let's take your block in between your thighs today, so that way you can feel what I'm talking about with this pelvis drawing down and slightly forward. Elbows draw onto your back body. Lift the chest, so like you have a string up to the sky, and then either just maybe taking one hand, reaching up to the sky, maybe one hand towards the ankles, and then start to send your thigh bones forward. Keep the pelvis drawing forward, and then you'll stay out of your lower back. Lift up through the chest, maybe open up through the throat. Last breath. And then slowly start to release. If you have the block in the thighs, go ahead, release the block in the thighs. And then I want you to take your right leg, middle of the mat, cross your left leg behind. Widen your feet so that they're almost like the width of the mat. Now again, you may want to sit on your block if the hips are really tight, or start to come down to the earth. As we come into these Gobukasana legs, sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Bend your left elbow, pat yourself on the back, and grab a hold. We're just going to take a half Gomukhasana arm here. Think about the spine, stacking the shoulders over the hips, and the elbow pressing up. Let your hips get heavy into the ground, like really feel them. And then slowly release. And we'll switch sides. So just come forward like you're a baby about to crawl. And then we'll just switch legs. So notice the right leg is in front. We're going to switch legs. So come, unstack the legs. Now take the right knee behind you. So the knees, try to keep the knees in line. Try to squeeze the inner thighs. Widen your feet to the width of your mat, and then start to sink down. And this side will probably feel different. You may want to sit on the block again. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Reach up to the sky. Feel your spine. The Sushumna central channel that runs all the way from the pelvis all the way up through the body. Bend your right elbow. Point that elbow up to the sky and let the head gently press into the forearm. Focus on your breath. Release the arm, and we're going to come into frog pose. So I had a request for frog, and we haven't done frog for a while, so absolutely. It's a great inner thigh stretch. So we're going to face the long side of the mat, and you're going to widen your knees. Now, if you have fragile knees, you can always take the side of your mat, and you can always double it up if you need extra cushioning. Now, the key is with frog pose, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm 90 degrees at the ankle. So where the ankle, the toes are flexed out, you are on the edge of the foot. And then a 90 degrees here at the knee bend. Now, you can either put a pillow, you can put a block. So maybe I'd put a block underneath my chest. And then you start to send the hips back so that you feel the groins open, you feel the inner thighs open, and then I want you to melt into it. So let's breathe in for a count of 4. Hold the breath in for 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. And hold the breath out for 4. Inhaling 4 counts. Hold the breath for 4. This time exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out. Last round. Inhale deeply, 4 counts. Hold the breath for 4. Exhale for 6. And hold the breath out Now, to come out of this pose, be very cautious. You're going to send your body weight forward. So just like if you were crawling, you're going to start to send your energy forward, and you're going to start to bring the heels in, and then start to walk your upper body back. Ooh, so good. Front pose, so good. If you have your mat doubled up, go ahead and release it, and we'll come onto our sitting bones for Navasana boat pose. So keeping either the hands grounded or reaching those hands forward. Draw the knees into the chest. Keep the chest lifted. Let's take for a little boat ride. So taking it to Ardha Navasana, and then come up full Navasana. Pull the knees into the chest, like really tight. Open up, inhale. Exhale, knees into chest. Breath. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha. Exhale, full Navasana. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Fullest expression of your boat pose. Take your Kali Mudra. Twist your body to the right. Twist your body to the left. Keep twisting, keep twisting. Lift up, full Navasana, maybe the arms up. And exhale to your back. Ooh, pull the knees into the chest. It feels so good to be on the back. Ah, yay. And I want you to finish here, taking the feet, just the width of your mat. So the feet, right side, your right foot is touching. Lift your chest up, open the collarbones, take your arms out to a T. Now drop your knees, both the knees are going to windshield wiper to the right and stay here. Take your right foot like an anchor and place that right foot on top of the left thigh. Now, left arm reaches up and behind you. So you're stretching like a full morning stretch, but just with the left arm. Now take your right hand and grab underneath that left wrist. And then we're going to take a variation of the standing pigeon that we've been working in class. I want you to now keep the foot, draw the left foot onto the ground. So you're just stamping your left foot, but you're making this figure 4 like we did standing. Now you're going to shift the knees all the way over, windshield wiper your knees to the left now, and I want you to stamp your right foot down into the earth. And then maybe it feels better if you were to grab a hold of that right outside of the ankle. And then I want you to send the right arm now up and taking that full body morning stretch. Reaching all the way up and back to open up through the armpit. Open up through the lungs. Little internal, external rotation of the hip. And then slowly release the arm. Come back to figure 4 and we'll switch sides. So widen the legs first, the width of your mat. Take your arms out to a T. Let your shoulders become heavy. And drop both knees this time to the left. Take your left foot. So your left foot is like, if I had a sandbag, I might want to put the sandbag on the outside of that right hip. So this left foot, by placing it onto the right outer thigh above the knee, it just acts as like a little sandbag. And then just let gravity help you start to open. Reach the right arm up behind you. plug the right shoulder head in, and then take your left hand, grab underneath that wrist, maybe even flexing the hand. Release the hand. Keep the legs like you have them. Take the arms back out to the T. And then just make figure four as you walk your right foot in. And then you may even want to lift the hips as you do this. Windshield wiper the legs now all the way over to the right. And then you're stamping your left foot down. So I like to grab a hold of the outside of that ankle, that left ankle, with my right hand. And once you let the hips become heavy, then take your left arm and stretch it over your ear. Full body stretch. It feels so good. And then we'll finish with a final symmetrical pose of happy baby, or if there is another pose that your body is needing, maybe shoulder stand, or if you want to slide your mat to the wall for legs up the wall. And if you're with me, we'll squeeze everything into a tight ball. Just squeeze your face, squeeze your jaw, squeeze everything in for 3, 2, remember, just let it all go into Shavasana, final relaxation. So let the feet flop to the corners of the mat. Give yourself plenty of room. Let your palms stay up. And I want you to notice what is touching the earth. What parts of your body are touching the earth? Can you allow the skin on your body to soften? Can you soften your face and your eyebrows, your jaw? And then can you allow your bones to get heavier? And heavier. So that your body really feels like a noodle. Letting go of tension, letting go of stress, making room for health and happiness. your toes, making small movements. Let's take a full body stretch as we reach the arms away from the toes. Take the knees to the side and just curl up into this little fetal position, remembering your tension. And then we'll slowly press back up as we'll close our practice for today. You did an awesome job. I loved practicing with you today on this beautiful day. Sweep the arms all the way up. Share your vitality now. Share your happiness and your health with everyone that you come in contact with the rest of the day. So make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video and share it with others. And we'll see you soon on the mat. From my heart to yours, namaste.